Hello, my name is Jamall Lewis Jr. I am I'm a combination of things, I would say. I'm an independent journalist, but before that, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a grandson. I'm a lot of things to a lot of people. I'm a youth advocate. Um, I feel like my purpose is to help guide and lead as many people as possible and bring certain information to those that don't know that they need it.
What is it that sparked your journey into journalism?
So, what a lot of people don't know is my grandma, my dad's mom, she was a child author. So she made 3 books. So I would say that I might be more inclined like for literature and journalism and media stuff based on like genes, because I don't know where else it comes from, honestly. I always knew I was able to articulate myself a little bit better than others. I always took a vast interest in school and my education, but I wrote for the school newspaper. I did some radio down at Waffle with Coach Mookie. I do interviews. I do a little bit of everything. So to answer the question, directly, what sparked my interest is all of those things, but just knowing that I can do it, and I always stuck with it. Like going to get my degree, I stuck with my major. I always knew I wanted to talk. I want to get paid to talk stuff. So yeah.
What were the moments as a child or a youth that helped become who you are today?
A lot. Through God's grace, I don't wear a lot of what I've been through on me, which is a blessing. But I feel like the perception outside looking in of me is a little bit warped, actually, because never spoon-fed, never picket fence, never none of that. I've struggled just like a lot of people, and I feel like that is one of the things I want to hone in on when I'm coming home, my relatability. Because when you talk about growing up, I played on the same football fields as these kids, the Johnny B. Wileys, the Woolsfield, Vetsfield, however you want. Like, I've been domestic violence in the household. Both my parents did jail time. I lived with just my grandma. I lived in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and in Glendale, Arizona. A lot of people don't know that. I've been to public schools, private schools, Catholic schools. My journey to get me where I am is what molded and shaped the way I think. So I would say, going through certain things in my childhood and certain bits and pieces of what I went through, being able to take away those things and use it as fuel is where I am.
How important is it to have people rooting for you or in your corner?
Ooh, so I got this quote from the other night at the NAACP Awards that a pastor from Detroit said. It's a Martin Luther King quote. He said, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." I feel like when you talk about support, man, why that stuck out to me is like, I guess depending on how your mind is set up, you might think you have haters, or you might think people are jealous of you, or you might feel under-supported, or like people are gatekeeping certain opportunities or however. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times it's the lack of support within the people that in your household, the people who got your last name, people that you got the same blood running through your veins as them. When you're not able to hold them to a certain standard as far as uplifting you in your profession and your hobbies and your just general interests, when you don't have that support, it's harder to get where you're trying to go. And nobody's saying it's supposed to be easy. All I'm saying is, like, the haters, the jealous people, the enemies, screw how they feel and what they saying. It's glaring that you are my person, you my people, and you don't share my posts. You don't show up for me. You unreliable. I can't depend on you to help get me where I'm going. That's yeah.
What is Blonde Spot Media?
So the blind spot is something that I'm trying to make better. The long and the short of it is, initially, the intention was to go out and interview people that I found interesting and give them a platform or an opportunity to share a story about themselves in a light most favorable to themselves. So how we see news or media traditionally casted is a 25 to 65-year-old white man in front of a camera, sort of same setup as this, talking about us, right? And what we do in our communities, what we say, where we go, how we feel. It's always going to be my prerogative to change the narrative and take back the Black voice and make sure the kids understand that they have a voice and that they need to use their voice and use their voice and their platforms to uplift others. Because if you're not doing that, what you're doing is counterproductive. Why I call it the blind spot is because I've always felt like I was in spaces or in areas where I was shadowed by other people. I always had a work ethic, I always had the ability to think for myself, but certain things wouldn't go my way. So I've always thought about how I can get other people's messages across by way of me. So yeah, that's the blind spot.
What challenges help develop your character?
Well, a couple of the last defining moments of my life that challenged me and built character. Last year, July, I got a call from my little sister that my grandma is rushed to the hospital. I'm at work in a work meeting, and I step out of that work meeting to receive that call. So obviously I rush home being Buffalo, work being in Alfred, New York, which is an hour, 40-something minutes away. And fast forward about 2 weeks later, I lost my grandma, my mom's mom. She was like a parent. I always grew up in a household with her, was always reliable and there for us, was always somebody that, like a backbone of the family, typical grandma. Typical grandma, everything you could think of, but like just a little bit extra on it. Like that was really my girl. I could go to my nana house and do whatever, and I'm no saint. So a lot of that was Nana. Nana was with my shenanigans, man, and I loved her. I loved her so much, but point being, why to me that was a character defining moment is because like now, almost a year later, I still get the chills when I like smell, well that sounds weird, but when like I smell the perfume of an older lady, or like I'm outside and I'm complimented a certain way by an older lady, or like it's certain things that trigger those moments, and I know some people can relate to that, but I would say, okay, why is character defining? Is because now we don't really, while we have people, we don't think about the adjustment that it takes moving forward in life and how to continue being great without somebody that was always there. Nobody trains us, nobody has the conversations with us, or gives us coping mechanisms or ways to go about being okay after we lose someone that was always there, right? And then something else, well, I just recently, I quit my job. I was the assistant director of major gifts at Alfred University for the past 3 years. What that means is I traveled the country and I spoke to Alfred alumni about money, about bringing different opportunities back to the university, whether it's internships or jobs for students, whether it's them coming back and speaking to a class, whatever it may be. Stepped away from my job because not only because it was time, but I felt played with on a lot of levels, and there was constant discussions being had about the investment in my future or lack thereof, and it just was time. So why that's character defining for me is being 25, I would have thought I'd be much farther, right? You go get a degree and you think like the big house come after and like the lucrative job, or like just fairy tale shit gonna fall out the sky, excuse my language. Like you think like because you do certain things and it's like boop boop boop, or like you compare your plight to other people's plight, that like I just wanted to be further. I want to be further, long story short. So why this is character defining, or why this is a big moment for me, is because like I'm testing myself. I don't have a job. I don't have access to the same resources I did in Alfred. I don't have the apartment that I've had for 7 years. I've had all my own resources, car, crib, career, all of that. So I'm walking by faith. And I feel like why that's even more than just character defining is because like the young man I am, the human I am, what do I believe in? Do I believe in myself? What risk am I willing to take behind my name, behind my brand? So like that's really, those are the last two things, losing my nana and then like just walking away from that job. But I'm not tripping on nothing. I'm not tripping on nothing. I feel like I'm very blessed and things are going where I'd like them to go.
Moment when you realized you were called to something greater?
Yes, actually, I feel like it's a really cliche answer, but it's like my go-to. I have two twin sisters, Star and Sky. One of them is over at Bus State, and her major is art, and then my other sister is at Trocare and a Rad Tech program. And I feel like I was a 6-year-old little kid, little gimpy little dude, and I was the only child for that amount of time, and like my parents having my sisters was a big defining moment and purpose, because now I have somebody to be an example for, as opposed to, and I lean into that role, as opposed to I'll see the opposite out of other people. I care about my sisters. I care about their birthday when they come. I care about what they're doing and what they're saying and how they're putting on, and how I care about structure in the household and in the family. And there is hierarchy. There is patriarchy in a sense, respectfully. But them being here makes my path a lot more linear, because I can't just go out and do a bunch of stupid shit, because they'll see that and then they'll think like, oh, that's okay, brother does stupid shit. And now we're just like doing a bunch of, yeah. So like, yeah, no. So that's a big thing for me, and I carry that with pride, being a big brother and being an example, and understand I have to do those things. That's one of my callings, to be a guidance, and these people, I'm responsible for people. They're not my kids, but they my kids.
What did you have to unlearn to become the man you are today?
Ooh, I'm still unlearning a lot. Like, I'm just not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be, and I recognize that. That's a deep question. I feel like things that I can unlearn to get where I'm going, a lot of bad habits. But like, you know, I'm trying every day. Like I said, the other question, just walking by faith, I feel like I could do a lot more leaning into understanding that there are things that I control, but there are more elements that I don't control, that in order to get where I'm going, I have to kind of just let it go, or let things be, as opposed to being so frustrated. I feel like sometimes we can be so angry, or we can be so moved, or so shaken, rattled by dumb stuff. Like you can't control it. It's over. It happened. Let it go. I feel like that's some of the things I have to unlearn. Like, even I hate the as a man, but like as a man, just certain tendencies. Being over emotional will hurt or will impact you in more negative ways than it can in positive ways. So passion is one thing, but being over emotional is one thing. I feel like learning how to dial back and not be so emotional, or just be so rattled. That'll get me to where I'm going. I'm big on leadership. My first ever football coach, his name was Derek Bishop, and he died. He died in a shooting/car crash a couple years ago. I would say he's one of the first people. He's like one of the giants along my plight, like people that I revere as like big figures, right? He's my first ever football coach. He was the head coach of the GC Cowboys. And I feel like in our community specifically, we have tendencies to undermine leadership, or to undermine being a leader, because it's not the coolest thing, or it's not the thing that it's not sexy. Waking up and showing up for your success, or showing up for other people's success, it's not sexy. It's not something that is like it's not, you're not showered. You're not loved on enough when you responsible for yourself and a bunch of other people. Why I bring D Bishop is because I don't know if he knew the impact or the impact that he would have on hundreds of kids moving forward, but we still are gathered today. Like, it's of the 30 kids from one of those teams. I was on his palm for 3 years. I would say I'm still cool with at least 15 to 20 of them, or I could call them by number, or we on Facebook together. Like that. Why that's leadership to me is because the biggest thing, and I remember being 7 and being told this, is hard work pays off. And when you out there, you working hard and you building camaraderie with other little boys because you're a little boy, you're not seeing that as leadership. You're not seeing being a team captain as leadership. But how, as a grown man, I can see his leadership and take it to where I can answer this question is because, like, we're still together. So he was a leader of young men that turn into men and still have the same connectivity as when we were 7 years old, winning championships, going to Florida, traveling together, doing whatever. Like, leadership to me, and where leadership changes me, is I understand what happens when you're not led, right? We lack guidance in our community. And I am long-winded on this question, but it matters. It matters. Representation, right? If it was, so the stigma that I hear privately is like, I'm preacher bro, right? Or I'm like preacher bro, or like motivational speaker guy, right? And that's cool. I'm fine with being different. I'm fine with taking a different path, a different plight. But where I could be a leader in my lane as opposed to others is I'll lean into myself. And I could tell a kid that we walked the same halls, we did the same stuff, what not to do, what to do. And that's leadership. Perfecting your role is leadership. Showing up for yourself and others is leadership. Making sure that other people is good, even when it's to your detriment sometimes. That's leadership. So I'm cool with however the perception is, because I'm doing the work. When the work is done behind the scenes, off of the internet, when everybody isn't watching, you have integrity. That's the best leaders to me have integrity. The best leaders to me have backbones. The best leaders to me know how to be led properly. It's not just all about power. Like, that's leadership to me. That's how leadership shapes, molds me, and matters.
Who is Jamall on campus?
Like how I started, I feel like and I like using that word, culmination of things. Like, I work on defining myself every day, but I know myself. Like, I feel like a lot of people will say at this point, with us being in this age range, let's say 21 to 26, people will tell you that you have time, and yeah, you have time to get to know yourself and learn and all of that. Jamall is full of tact, right? I'm very strategic. I know who I am. I know what I want out of life. I know that I want to be successful, and that success to me is happiness. And every day I'm working at stacking good days, right? Just like everybody else. But what makes me extraordinary is I'm very talented. I work hard, but there isn't many things that I don't do well. Like, I show up as myself wherever I go, and I shine. And that's not, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I feel like how I describe myself better than what everything else that I just rambled about is. I'm an acquired taste. I'm not gonna buckle down to you or your needs. I'm not gonna always be who you need me to be, or a yes man, but I'll be assertive. I'll be your friend when I need to be your friend. I lead with love. I lead with respect. I'm passionate about the things I'm passionate about. Family, my sisters, my education, making sure I got some money in my pocket, not being dependent on others for little to nothing at all. I'm loyal to a fault. I show up for my people. I'm not a boy's boy. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about you. I'm a combination of things. I'm not just one thing. I don't want to just be one thing. I'm an independent journalist. I'm a photographer. I'm a videographer. I do voiceovers. I can be a motivational speaker or be preacher, bro. I'm gonna be and morph into whatever I need to, and no moment is bigger than me. No program is bigger than me. I'm myself. That's me. Off camera, on camera, I'm myself.
New movement, new vision. Tell us about
Seven Shades of Art is something that I came together with my friends to amplify and uplift the art community, right? Doing Blind Spot, I'm often in spaces where fashion is key or where arts is key and amplified, right? This is an event for the true art enthusiasts. We'll have live poetry, we'll have live body painting, we'll have a live saxophonist, as well as a mini fashion show. We'll have art will be everywhere, all throughout the establishment on the lake. So July 19th, 7 Shades of Art, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. out on the lake. On the lake is a location about 5 minutes off of the Skyway over in Hamburg. Beautiful, sits right on the water. Less of a movement, more of like a statement. More of a statement. It's just something that's big for myself as well as the community. I want to prove to myself, I want to prove myself right that I can make an event happen, let alone a successful event. So everything that's coming together, we got 12 artists, we have an amazing host, we got everything we need. So it's just making it come together for y'all. Like me, I could sleep well at night, every night, as long as I know that I did everything possible to get where I'm going. I wasn't a slouch. I didn't go to sleep early when I shouldn't have. I expounded on all my resources. I called who I was supposed to call. So 7 Shades of Art is really something, it's proof to myself that I can make things happen, but it's also just bigger than me. It's bigger than Blind Spot. It's adding to the safe space of expression, of people that are a lot more detail oriented, to people that are the neat freaks and the people that their mind is fully encompassing the world around them. It's deeper than just a day. Like July 19th is going to be very, very special. It's deeper than just an event. I want people to come out and be able to enjoy a vibe, and that's something that I'm taking from the guys over at Cannon House. A very intentional Black experience. It's going to be a vibe.
How is 7 Shades of Art different from other events on the art scene or the art industry?
Well, for one, it's going to be on the lake. The ambiance that we were trying to set is going to be way different. And like I told Hannah off camera, I feel like it's something that I'm banking on is organization, right? I want it to be an event that's different from other events, and simply like we came and it wasn't a shit show. Like things had balance. We were able to. It's more of a art bazaar form as well, because there may be multiple things going on at once. So without giving too much away, we might have the saxophone set run into, or vice versa, have the body painting set run into the saxophone set. So you get a little bit of everything. You might have some more live music while the fashion show is going on. You'll have raffles. It'll be a bunch of things going on at once. So even like, for instance, having the old schools and show bikes out in the lot, that's a whole nother realm of art, right? Having a poet, that's literature. Having live music, that's music. I'm trying to bring a bunch of different forms of art together to give and deliver a different vibe than just a fashion show or just an art expo or just a this. Yes, difficult, but not really as difficult as people might think. You just gotta have people that are willing to work with you and stand beside you and believe in what I'm saying and in this movement. So that's why and how it's gonna be a lot different than other things.
What impact are you hoping to have on the community with 7 Shades of Art?
The overall impact that I'm planning to have and that we will have is assisting and amplifying not only voices but people's platforms, right? I want to bring tension. I want the impact to be something that's thought-provoking. I want people to ask, why did you do that? How did you do that? Like that's the lasting impact will be, did people gain followers? Did you sell some art? Did the vendors vend? Were people satisfied and happy with driving out to the lake and seeing what they saw? Like I'm questioning my impact right now, but that would be the overall plan to help people rise into a different stratosphere that they haven't had, or to help them help others as well. To give people more than they've been allotted.
Oh.